Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you joining me once again. It is Wednesday, or also commonly known as Hump Day. Um, Pretty glad about that. Uh, I'm going to talk about a couple of things today, but before I get started, if you've checked out a couple of my videos, the first one's free. If you're checking out number 2 or number 3, just hit the subscribe button. That's your payment. Doesn't cost you anything, but it costs me time to do these videos and also to respond to comments and stuff like that. I read comments on here. I give you guys a platform. I discuss it. Everyone gets in the comments and talks about it. You know, everybody passes around ideas on how to do this, how to do that, and we all kind of have a common goal of just living a better life and getting to a healthier place with kratom use, whether that means completely coming off of kratom because it's kicked you in the teeth, as it can, or just finding a healthier balance and a healthier relationship with kratom. I'm all for either one of those, but that particular move is for you to decide. It's not for me to decide for you. And in addition to that, we also know that addiction or drug addiction is the only so-called disease or condition that must be self-diagnosed, right? Doesn't mean other people can't tell you. You know, someone don't sit on the outside can look and be like, damn, oh shit, hey, that guy's definitely a drug, or that chick's definitely a drug addict. You know, they can tell you, but here's the problem. If the addict themselves doesn't concede to that and doesn't accept that they are an addict, then they'll do what? They'll continue to use as though they aren't, and as though they have some sort of control over the situation, when what we actually know about addiction is that if you are truly an addict and have an addict mindset, that literally means you have the inability to control psychoactive substances, okay? Whatever those substances may be. So for that reason, I take a very open-minded approach on here. I am not a person on here campaigning against kratom. In fact, I'm in the middle of a taper. I've got on and then off of kratom for around 30, 40 days, a couple of different times since I've been doing this channel. I am currently on about 17 grams of kratom per day and am steadily tapering. I'm going to get to that a little bit as well. But to make a long story short, I don't land on either side of the fence. I'm not pro-kratom. I'm not anti-kratom. I'm for kratom being a specific set of circumstances, or kratom use rather, being a specific set of circumstances based on an individual person's needs, an individual person's personality, their psyche, you know, all of these things. Because what kratom means to one person may not mean the same to the next person. Just like you have social drinkers, you know, people who can not drink all week and then maybe go out a couple nights a week, or go out and eat dinner with a partner or something and have a glass of wine, and then they don't drink again for 3 or 4 days, right? But then there's people that you would call alcoholics that look at that very behavior and just like, what? How the hell do you do that? You know, if a sip of alcohol touches my lips, next thing you know, somebody's peeling me off the floor because I've gotten far too inebriated, right? If I touch a sip of alcohol, you know, 2 years later and $5,000 later, I've gotten 2 DUIs because I just can't stop over drinking, right? So you have this spectrum of people, and you have also a spectrum of addictive behaviors. There's addictive behavior, then there's really bad addictive behavior. There's addictive behavior that is almost like, almost can't even really put my finger on whether that person's an addict or not. You know, they got all their shit together. There's not like a million negative consequences and all this turmoil floating around in their lives and this and that, but they use something or do something every day, so it's kind of hard to like put your finger on. But then there's people who use that same substance that just go, 100 feet down. As soon as they start, they're completely rock bottom and up under the rocks. Some people 6 feet under, because it takes them down that far, and it really is a large array of what you will see regarding addiction, addictive behavior. And that's why I point back to that person themselves has to be the one to relent to the idea of, okay, well, this is how many times now that I've tried to control psychoactive substances, and this is how many times that I've failed. I've spent how much money, I've had how many health risks, I've ruined how many relationships, I've lost how many jobs, how many cars, I've lost this and I've lost that and I've lost the other thing, and I've lost my wife or my husband or whatever it is. You have that sort of person that just experiences such an insurmountable amount of negative consequences that it kind of becomes a no-brainer to that person, right? And they eventually are just like, you know what? Just throw in the towel. This is the towel. Just throw it in. Throw in the towel. I can't do this anymore. Obviously, I'm an addict. Can't control this or any other substance. So I just need to completely become abstinent of it, right? But then you have other people that you can look at and you can flip that same coin over and be like, well, not all the negative consequences seem successful. They seem to kind of have a hold on things, a reign on things. They're successful. They have a job. They have a family. They have loved ones. And everything kind of seems to be in order and intact in their lives. And from the outside looking in, a lot of times it's like, well, that person must not be an addict. Not necessarily. Some people hide it far better than others. And some people exert, because they know they have certain addict tendencies, a lot of people make a concerted effort to gain a little bit more control over and to force themselves to have a little bit more control over it than the average addicted person does. Case in point, me. I'm one of those people that would fall into that sort of alignment. Anyone who doesn't know me, who doesn't follow this channel, or is not my wife or someone really, really close to me, would have no idea that I use something like Kratom on a daily, regular basis. Have all my affairs in order, have a good job. I don't job hop. I've never had a DUI. I've never lost a home. I've never lost a car. I've never lost, a family member that I have pushed away, to the effect of being a drug addict and having done that. I don't, in a lot of ways, I don't fit the mold, but I'm still addicted, and I still have that addictive mindset. So there's just a whole array. And this whole thing surrounding addiction and Kratom, it's not black and white, right? And that's what I try to be careful about projecting on here. I want, when people come onto this channel, to understand that this is an open forum where we share ideas and we share our own personal experiences. Now certain aspects of Kratom are ubiquitous, meaning you can find them everywhere. Okay, but then there's certain aspects of Kratom that are specific to one person or to that person or to a set of people, right? And are not ubiquitous to all of the population of people that are Kratom users, right? So there's just a whole different array, and that person themselves, if it is decided that you are an addict, that has to be you that decides that, not me. I will never try to decide that for you, because it's pointless for me to do so. It is fruitless for me to do so. And I could sit on here and point fingers based on your comments, even though I've never met you before. I could sit here and say, oh, that, damn. You say you used to do H? Damn, bro, you definitely, yeah. You're definitely an addict. Oh, you say you used to do pain pills? Oh, yeah, you definitely. Oh, you drank all those years? Man, you definitely, yeah. You just need to go ahead and put that shit down. I was like, you think if it was that easy, they wouldn't have already just made that decision? No. They have to decide that for themselves. That's when they are going to take accountability for that condition, and then they will begin to change it from the inside out. You can't change something like that from the outside in. You can suggest certain things. You can send them here, send them there, send them to AA, NA. You can do all the right things to try to keep a person 100% abstinent and off of drugs. But at the end of the day, whose choice is it? For them not to walk right out of an AA meeting or right out of an NA meeting and stop by an ABC store on the way home, or go by a friend's house that used to sell them pain pills, or go down the street to the crack house and get some crack cocaine or some H or whatever it is that's their drug of choice, right? They're the ones that have to stop that from happening, right? Because we have something in this world that is ubiquitous to all of the population, and it's called what? Free will. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. Likewise, you cannot make me do anything I don't want to do. And that's where we are. So that's why we have this open forum and platform where we can talk in a, not a subjective, but an objective, non-biased, non-judgmental way. Now, opinions are okay, right? Nature says it. Nurture says it. Our, social prowess, our socioeconomic status tells us that we are bound to be opinionated, and a lot of those opinions are formed based on how we were raised, what kind of family we were brought up in, whether we had authoritarian type parents, meaning whether you had parents that wagged their finger at you and tell you to shut up, and that kids are to be seen and not not heard, never talk back, never express your feelings, suppress your feelings. A lot of us grew up in that old school sort of environment. And then there's people that parents are authoritative, which means they help their child make correct decisions and help guide them, but also give a little bit of accountability and autonomy to the children so that they can practice with the overseeing guidance of a loving adult. They can practice making their own wise decisions and choices, right? And then you have passive parenting. Those are the parents that it borders on neglect. They're like, I'm gonna feed your ass, I'm gonna give you a room to stay in and a bed to sleep on, and I'll buy you some clothes and stuff like that. Outside of that, whatever the hell you want to do, bro, just do it. And believe it or not, there are families out there that grew up in those sort of homes. All of these things and these interactions that we've had in nature and in our own family dynamics shape how we feel about things, what our opinions are regarding drug use, what our opinions are regarding religion, regarding family status, socioeconomic status, politics, you name it. It shapes it all. 17 grams again yesterday for me. Not really any problems. I do find that around 3, 4, 5 in the morning, I kind of start, feeling not quite as great. And I think that has a lot to do with, it just has a lot to do with the fact that I'm taking my last dose later on in the evening. So then I'm going a period of several hours throughout the night without taking a larger dose. I'm kind of just taking a couple of grams here right before I go to bed. Then I'll take another gram when I wake up in the middle of the night. So I've got a good probably 10-hour period there between 6, 7 o'clock in the evening and then 6 o'clock the next morning when I get up. 10, 12-hour period where I'm only taking roughly about 3 grams of Kratom. That's not very much for somebody like me who was up to 40, 50 grams a day of the powder a couple of months ago. Today, I've cut it back again a little bit. I took 5 grams this morning. Just a couple of minutes ago when I took my afternoon lunchtime dose, I only took 3 grams. 3 grams. So I've had 8 grams of Kratom today so far. Okay, that's the least amount that I've had in quite a while by this time of day. So continuing to kind of move in the right direction. I will say that that's, you know, a double-edged sword for me, because this evening my wife is going to be out of town in Elizabethtown, so I'm going to be home by myself with both the kids. When I say both the kids, my eldest, he's a 17-year-old, you know, young man, so he kind of does his own thing. Obviously, I don't have to babysit him, but I'll be at home by myself with the infant. So I'm going to be the one in the room by myself tonight with an 8, almost 9-month-old baby who wakes up a couple of times a night wanting to eat something. You know, just, you know, I've got to, luckily my mother-in-law is coming by in the morning to help me, you know, because I have to get, my wife is the one that takes care of the baby in the morning, gets him off the daycare and stuff like that, because she doesn't have a specific office schedule. She's in sales, you know, so she can just kind of go at her own pace, which she's up and, you know, banging by the time I get up in the morning anyway. But she doesn't have, you know, I work 8 to 5 every day. So I'm a salaried employee. I have to be there at 8. You know, I have to be there till 5 every day. And I have a specific office location, which is about a 30-minute commute from my home. My wife, she works from home using a tablet and a laptop. You know, her office is wherever her laptop and her tablet are. That's her office. Right? So with that, she's able to have a lot more leeway. So luckily, her mom, my mother-in-law, is coming by tomorrow morning to help get the baby in order, help get all his stuff and get him dressed, to get him off the daycare. She's retired, right? While I take off to work. But I still have night duty. I'm going to be the only one there tonight. So I'm going to have to be the one getting up with him in the middle of the night, stuff like that. So I tried again, kind of stack the deck in my favor. I'm taking a little bit less throughout the day today, so then when tonight comes around, I can still, you know, I can make sure that I'm taking enough to where I'm able to get some good sleep and stuff like that, and then still fall under that 17 gram mark, right? I might try to kind of push to see if I can get 16, just 16 total tonight, but I will not know until probably 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll kind of see how I feel at that point. And if I feel like I can push it, you know, to where I can get by on just 16, then that's what I'll do. Try to be careful about that, because as we talked about on here, there is a place where you can push yourself a little too hard, a little too fast when it comes to a taper. And if you do that, you're gonna have some bad experiences. And it's, you know, you're more likely at that point to just completely recant your taper and just go back into taking full time. I don't want that. You know, I want it to be kind of as seamless and uncomfortable as possible. Now, don't get me wrong. For the last 2-3 weeks, I've been having a fair amount of discomfort almost every night. But it's not severe. You know what I mean? It's not so bad that it's just like I'll wake up in the morning, it's like, oh my God, that was absolutely a nightmare. You know, it's not that sort of discomfort. It's like mild discomfort, you know. It's doable, right? As opposed to where cold turkey, you would just be freaking all night, just in absolute agony, okay? So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm at 8 grams right now. Definitely going to keep it under 17 again for the 3rd night in a row. I might try to go 16 if I'm feeling a little frisky. If I wake up in the middle of the night, feed the baby, and then I'm feeling good, I might, you know, just try to lay it back down and see if I can get through till 6 o'clock and just completely skip, you know, the last gram and see if I can maybe get out at 16. But I'm going to be careful with that, because if I do that, then the very next night, I'm going to have to do the same thing. Because I don't want to go to 16 and then turn around the next night and realize that I still need to be at 17, right? So I'm trying to be smart, trying to take it slow. In fact, I may just go ahead and do 17 again tonight. That would have been 3 full days doing 17 each night. And I'm trying to get myself to where I'm fully stabilized on the 17 grams, meaning I'm pretty much sleeping right on through, you know, not having a lot of issues, was waking up and feeling uncomfortable, withdrawals, stuff like that. And so I want to make sure I get to that point of stabilization before I drop it down again. I'm really bad about, you know, go hard or go home, going hard in the paint. I'm really bad about, you know, oh, well, you know, I've got 17 grams. Damn, come on, you got it, bro. You got it. You can do 16 today. You got it. Come on. You know, like I'm in the gym spotting somebody. Like, come on, bro. You got it, bro. You know, I'm one of those people that like peps myself up and, you know, really tries to go hard. Trying to be better about that. But I'll let you guys know tomorrow how that goes. I'm going to read one comment, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about Agmatine. Because Agmatine, you know what? In fact, let me talk about Agmatine first. Okay. I know a lot of you have heard of it. I've seen it tons of times, countless times in the comments here. Is something that is a very common substance known throughout the drug use community. And, you know, in a moment here after I talk about it, you'll find out why. But this supplement may be really important for any of you out there who are looking to change your relationship with Kratom. If you're wanting to take significantly less, right? And you're not trying to deal with all these deplorable withdrawals that you can get from something like Kratom, okay? Agmatine can be a good supplement. So what is Agmatine? Agmatine is derived from L-arginine and is considered a neurotransmitter and neuromodulator. Animal studies suggest it can be potentially used to treat neuropathic pain and drug addiction. Agmatine can be found in certain fermented foods, including wine. Okay? In vitro studies have suggested that neurotransmitter does show dose-dependent pain-relieving effects in the context of treating neuropathic pain. Agmatine is naturally produced by the body. It is derived from L-arginine through decarboxylation. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Decarboxylation, and is stored in neurons. It is often used to shield your brain from toxins and strokes and helps protect against pain and depression. Because of its stored location in the brain, Agmatine may enhance focus, cognition, performance, and mood. Okay, so here's another interesting part about the Agmatine as well. It's also a workout thing. It's also an exercise thing. Increases vascularity, you know, opens up the blood vessels so you can get a bigger pump, you know, if you're lifting weights in the gym or whatever. So a lot of people use it as like a pre-workout regimen. They'll take some Agmatine and then it helps, you know, increase muscular endurance and stuff like that when they're in the gym so they can get a harder workout, a harder pump, okay? And it talks about that here. In terms of bodybuilding, the main function of Agmatine is to delay nitric oxide synthase production. It does this by affecting 3 enzymes. These are INOS, NNOS, and ENOS, which I have no freaking clue what that means. Anybody who's a biologist, if you'd like to chime in and, you know, tell us what all that shit is, you're welcome to. Here's what each of these enzymes does. Okay, well, here it talks about it. Inducible NOS, that's the INOS. Excessive amounts of this enzyme can cause inflammation. Okay, so it's delay the nitrous oxide synthase production. Okay, so this will do the opposite. This can help to reduce inflammation. Neuronal NOS, which is the NNOS. This enzyme encourages communication in the brain. If there's too much NNOS, it will inhibit neuronal growth and repair. Endothelial NOS. This enzyme signals vasodilation in the blood vessel lining. This means increased blood flow. Of course, that means it promotes the pump in the gym. It also delivers oxygen and nutrients to muscles while removing cellular waste product. A side note on this, opens up blood vessels, increases blood flow. Guys, especially older guys, especially people taking kratom, lower testosterone. This can help increase those things and blood flow. So it can be potentially, although I'm sure not as potent, a safe kind of alternative to something like a Viagra. That almost completely slipped my mind right then. Almost had a brain fart. So yeah, there's some side indications that Agmatine also has some benefit in that area as well. I mean, it makes sense, you know, increasing blood flow and increased vasculature and vasculation, right? Agmatine blocks inducible NOS and neuronal NOS production while increasing endothelial NOS production. Okay, now that we've seen its mechanism of action, let's take a look at agmatine sulfate benefits. Enhanced pumps in the gym, increased workout energy, may reduce stress, thereby reducing cortisol, which cortisol is the hormone that actually is produced when you start becoming stressed. Your body will produce more cortisol, so this actually can reduce that. Increases insulin sensitivity, may provide short-term pain relief, helps combat erectile dysfunction. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. Supports healthy blood pressure levels, so it can actually slightly lower your heart rate and lower your blood pressure. Does agmatine increase testosterone? Agmatine is not generally considered a potent testosterone booster. However, recent studies indicate that agmatine stimulates luteinizing hormone production in rats. More LH means testosterone. So, doesn't directly affect it, but there are definitely some indications that it does increase LH, which more LH means testosterone. Does that make sense? There's a lot of indications that it does. Agmatine's effectiveness for drug addiction. This is what the main one that I want you guys to hear. Agmatine's effectiveness for drug addiction requires further research, but preliminary animal studies show promise in the treatment of alcohol withdrawal. These studies showed a decrease in alcohol withdrawal symptoms such as tremors and anxiety after supplementation. Agmatine has also been studied for the potential benefits of treating cocaine addiction and opiate addiction, but animal studies have not shown promising results. Limited human evidence suggests agmatine may show efficacy for treating depression and nerve-related pain. So there's a lot of things that I've listed here. One of the things that's most important for you guys would be dosing on, maybe 1,500 milligrams. I bought some that actually comes in. I just want to say right out of the gate, when I go to start doing some sort of taper like this, I'm not one of those people that's like goes online and orders, 12 different supplements that are going to help, everything that's what's going to help me during the day, what's going to help me at night, what's going to help with the withdrawals, what's going to help, I'm not one of those people that just gets this huge, massive cocktail of other things that can help me come off of one thing. I'm not that dude. Never have been that dude. The only thing I'm trying right now is this agmatine. And I will say that when I take about a gram of that, which they come in 500 milligram capsules, so 2 of those will be a gram, I have found that when I take a gram of that, it kind of relaxes me a little bit, kind of doesn't send my mind on this, circular motion of thinking about that substance. And there's a lot of things that I didn't get to read in here that I really didn't get to talk about as far as agmatine, but it essentially plays a part in helping you forget how that substance that you were taking may have felt to you. And it's also kind of a potentiator as well, right? So that's one of the things that helps to decrease the tolerance. Supplementing, like if you take kratom by example and you're supplementing your day with agmatine, the idea is that you can get bigger, more potentiated effects of kratom and taking a smaller amount of it than you would if you didn't supplement with the agmatine. Okay? And then in addition to that, it plays a part in helping your brain not remember how that substance, the kratom or whatever else it is you're trying to come off of, how that makes you feel. Plus, it kind of relaxes you a little bit. Obviously, if it's a pre-workout thing, it's going to give you kind of some energy. And, it's one of those things where it is a supplement. It is safe. It's already, the parent structure of it is already found in your body. So it's not something that you can get addicted to, or it's like you're going to take it and then 30 minutes later, oh, I'm high as hell. No, you don't perceive it that way. So this is not an addictive thing. It's a neurotransmitter that's already previously found and generated in your body, which makes it safe by that measure. But it does increase the ability to be able to go longer without taking kratom, to be able to not experience quite the intensity of the withdrawals in between the times that you're using your kratom, especially if you're trying to cut down your doses. So give it a look. Give it a look. A lot of people swear by it. There's a lot of information on it. A lot of YouTube videos talking about Agmatine. This is about to be another one. So, all of you out there that have some experience with kratom, if you're looking to come off of it or change your dose or anything like that, might not be a bad idea to supplement with something like this. It has a lot of great benefits, and especially ones that, indicate it makes it easier to come off of something like kratom. I would say that's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? Side effects of Agmatine. Limited human evidence suggests that Agmatine may have a mild to moderate side effect like diarrhea or mild nausea. I've never experienced that, by the way. I would think if you're not taking an asinine amount of it, you probably wouldn't have to worry about that. But these resolve with time and treatment succession. Further research is needed to determine whether Agmatine is safe to use. There's really, and the reason they're saying that is because there's not been a lot of human trials, but there kind of has been. I mean, there's anecdotals everywhere. You can look online and there are tons of people that take it every day, multiple times per day, 1.5 grams, 2 grams, people up to 3 grams per day. And there's people that have been taking it for years on end and are showing absolutely no side effects whatsoever of it, right? So whether it's just a placebo effect and you're just imagining that it's helping you, or it actually does help and then it has very few side effects in the short and long term, hey, it's a winner in my book, even if it is the placebo effect. Hell, man, whatever works, It's kind of like I tell people about faith. Who am I to tell you it's wrong or what you believe is wrong? If it's real to you, it's real, right? If it gives you strength, if you find strength in it, then that's just as real to you as this guy's faith or religion is to him. You understand? Same thing with the placebo effect. If you feel like it helps, then it helps. It's that simple. Those who can and those who can't are both right. Think about that. I'll say it again so you can marinate on it. Those who can and those who can't are both right. You had to think about that for a second. So anyway, let me read at Glenn Morse 9533 and we'll finish with this comment. Thank you. You have such good advice. I am 66 and retired, and that is a huge help for me in tapering. It's working for me okay. I definitely understand your methods. Like you said, we are in a different boat. It is what you do to make it work for you. It is like building a roller coaster and getting the bugs out. Man, I would hate to go through all of this while working. I take a dose closer to bedtime every night. I time that right so that maybe I will not wake up and can't even start to sleep. When this is over with, I need to create a job or to get one. I don't care if it is a cleaning job. I have settled at 2.4 grams, 7 hours apart. That's great, man. You're doing awesome, especially with the 7 hours apart. That's good. I have no idea how long I will be here, because if I cut even 1/10 of a gram and I'm not satisfied with that, I started this with a rule of once I cut, I'm not supposed to go back up. Same rule I use, and you should use that rule. I'm not supposed to go back up. 2.4 grams keeps me from flying off the roller coaster and having the wobbles. Yeah, that's a low enough amount where you shouldn't experience that. So yeah, and I want to point that out real quick, and this is gonna cut me off. I was talking about yesterday how hard it is for everybody to come off of Kratom because all these responsibilities, and a couple people hit me up and like, hey, not all of us have a ton of responsibilities. Some of us are retired dealing with this. And when you get older, it's harder to deal with shit like this. You're not as resilient. You know, you don't have the ability to bounce back as quickly as you did when you were younger. I agree with that. I'm a 47-year-old dad to a baby. You don't think this shit was easier when I was 30 years old when I had my first son? Hell to the yeah, it was easier. So I can tell you, just from, I'm not even 50 yet, but being, 17 years older than I was the last time I did this baby thing, it's significantly harder. So I can only imagine, being retired age, 60, 65, 70 years old, dealing with something like this is pretty freaking hard. And I wanted to acknowledge that. So keeping yourself engaged, cutting yourself out of a job, giving yourself stuff to do, I will say definitely is the key for you